Okay, we are live from the backstage and you are at the stage.
Hello, Adam.
Hello,
Hello,
Adam.
hello.
Hello, everybody. It's time to continue our second day and we are in the afternoon and it's time to have another very interesting keynote. We are very honored to have Adam Christoferson as our next keynote speaker. Adam was with us in Northern Ireland last year, and they, in collaboration with his friends and colleagues, they made an amazing journey to music. And you had this wonderful workshop, and you actually made 2 beautiful songs during the conference days. And you can see the story of this musical intervention in our expo area. Please check it out. It's amazing story.
Yes, in our YouTube site, where is a link from Expo area, there are those videos of the musical intervention in Belfast. Fantastic.
Okay, so Adam, you are warmly welcome. Enjoy your speech and just relax and take it easy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the European Conference on Mental Health. Really excited about this presentation. I want to get right into it with song. There's no better way.
Hey guys, how was your day? Our day was rough, but we turned the day around. Turn the day, turn the day, turn the day, turn the day around.
So I hope you were able to hear that. I know I turned the volume down a little, but I really want to start out where we are now. Before we get into the history and the exciting journey that it's been to get to this point, I want to introduce to you Dr. Philip Corlett, a partner in this research grant, to talk a little bit about what we've been up to with regards to studying music and the brain. Please welcome Philip.
Thanks so much. I'm delighted to be able to join you from Adam's downtown center for musical intervention. So Adam and I have been working together now for just over a year, trying to bring the power of his musical intervention and its impact on recovery in serious mental illness, together with my work on how the brain makes predictions about the world and how that prediction process is disrupted in people with serious mental illnesses, and how music might realign people's prediction-making mechanisms and help them learn to trust other people and to interact with them more fruitfully. When I think about music, I think about it as a sort of golden road toward brain activation and social connectivity. And those are 2 things that the people that we serve in our mental health communities are often, sadly, really very lacking. From my own point of view, I'm an academic. I've been at Yale for the past 10 years. I love what I do, but sometimes it can feel somewhat like intellectual navel-gazing. And I'd really like the work that we've been doing to have some real practical benefit. And so I was really excited and inspired to meet Adam and to observe some of his sessions, where he brings groups of people together who don't often find the time or the convenience, or maybe don't even have the motivation, maybe they're a little bit frightened, to join together with strangers and to really sort of let go some of their inhibitions and perform music together. And what I saw in those early sessions, when we were starting to think through whether there might be some seed of a collaboration here, is just the sort of transformative impact of music, and particularly music making and songwriting in a group. These people would go from being folks who I would see sitting around our Connecticut mental health center, often completely disconnected from others, and they would be totally transformed in this session. And it's not just Adam's energy and animacy that's so infectious, it becomes this sort of contagious process where, as one person starts to come out of their shell a little bit, everybody sort of joins in and becomes excited and enthused. And really, that was what happened with putting the grant proposal together and winning the grant. We managed to infuse something that's quite a rigid and clinical process, grant writing, with the excitement and the enthusiasm and the energy that Adam and musical intervention brings to the table. But more than that, I think what we're trying to do is to put some empirical bones and some data on what it is that works about musical intervention. And that's, I think, the part that my lab brings to the collaboration. So as I mentioned, we don't just passively receive information from our environment. We're constantly trying to make predictions about what's going to come next. And as I alluded to, people with serious mental illnesses, particularly people with schizophrenia who I work with, seem to find it rather difficult to make accurate predictions about the world and other people in the world. The same can be true with music, right? Music is an inherently predictive process. It has a structure that our brains are really tuned to. And when we hear a piece of music or a song that we're really familiar with, we can't help but fill in the rest of the song. I think about Sweet Caroline, for example, right? What we're hoping to do with this project is track exactly how music making constrains and sort of reorients people's brain mechanisms for making predictions. And the idea would be that there would be a trickle-down effect. So learning and experiencing in the group that it's okay to make mistakes and to embarrass yourself, and that you can trust other people somewhat, might trickle out and permeate the rest of people's lives. And so what we're hoping is that this musical experience, this musical intervention procedure will change people's brains, change their abilities to make predictions about the world, and that those things will generalize outside of the study context and into the real world. And hopefully they'll enrich not just the people who've been part of our studies, but also Adam and I and the rest of our research team as we work going forward to try and sort of deconstruct exactly what the active ingredients are to this process.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Corlett. And we hope to maybe get an invite to Dr. Corlett to our next ECMH in Portugal. So thank you so much. Now, how in the world did we get to this point? And this is what I want to encourage folks with my story, that they can follow their dreams and their passions and make an impact in this world. So join me as we walk this road. So music was always there. This is actually a picture of me as a child playing harmonica. And what had occurred, I'd come into this world to two amazing parents, both struggling with paranoid schizophrenia. My mother has paranoid schizophrenia. My father has schizoaffective disorder. And it made things pretty complicated in the get-go. I was put into foster care because things were just not safe at that time. And the shining light was my grandmother, Bertha, Florence Wickstrom Christoferson, a Swedish immigrant to the US. And she was amazing. But there was a strange other element in the mix, and that is Michael Bolton. How in the world does Michael Bolton play into this? Well, he's my uncle. And we would go to concerts, and it was quite an amazing scene. I just remember them saying, "That's your uncle up there," and there was thousands of people just dancing and celebrating his music, and it had a huge impact, not only for the extremeness of that, but Also, we had VIP treatment. And so going from, Section 8 housing to VIP treatment in the music industry was an incredible experience. So back to living with my grandmother, she would make me Swedish pancakes and read me her poetry. And when she passed on, it was an incredible loss. She was really a staple and somebody that gave me some solace in my life at a very young age. And so we began to live, my father and I began to live in that home in the suburbs, away from some of the gang activity that was going on where my mother was living. And as time went on, it was nothing but music in the house. My father bought me a drum set at 8 years old, and people came through. And, in the beginning, there was a lot of drugs and a lot of chaos, but it was a beautiful chaos. We were getting together in unique ways and making music and doing harmless things. However, those harmless things began to get out of control, and the drugs began to spin out of control. And I started to worry about my own mental health. And it was in 2001 when I decided to stop using drugs and begin to focus on a vision. But it was very complicated. Special education because of the way I was raised, made it very complicated for me to receive education in a rewarding way. It was always kind of correcting my behaviors, and it was always frustrating. But I was able to break through and find my purpose and attend higher education and go to Southern Connecticut State University. I actually had to sneak my way in. I knew the vice president at the time, and he allowed me in, even though my grades and my SAT scores were not good enough. It was there that I found recreation and leisure studies. It was right up my alley. As you can see, I founded the Ultimate Frisbee team at Southern Connecticut. So it's all about community, team building, leisure education, flow, and all kinds of fun and positive fun. And within the degree of recreation and leisure studies, I found recreation therapy. And it was a very small department, but all about what I was into, using leisure and music to help people. And I got a job and an internship working at Yale Child Psychiatric Inpatient Hospital. And within the first week, I asked my supervisor if I could bring my recording equipment in, and she obliged. And it was, studio inpatient hospital day one, and people were just knocking down doors to record music with us. And it was very, very special. So special that the medical director really encouraged me to start doing this outside of the hospital and find other facilities that might be interested in it. And that was the birth of musical intervention. Believe in Me, the first musical intervention song. I want you to take a listen.
Love me, love everyone. You, me. Can't you see? You're just like me.
I'm guessing you heard that song. I cannot hear the audio on this end, so if I cut it off prematurely, I do apologize. But that song in particular was so special. I was working with individuals who are struggling with intellectual disabilities, and it was one of the most joyous experiences of my life, going in there, writing music with them, and seeing the pure joy come out of those sessions, and then be able to record them, get copies to them and their family. Here's another group that I worked with, and this song actually was so fantastic. It was invited to perform on stage in a major performing venue, and this is Tyler. Enjoy.
I can change my world. I am my own girl. I am great, I know. I got skills, you know. turn your day around.
I remember that as if it was yesterday. It was such a phenomenal experience to see thousands of people just rise to their feet and celebrate this young man who had gone through so many challenges and get a chance to perform his song in front of everyone and really wow the audience with his voice. This is another very inspiring young man, Jeremiah. And for some of you that were in Belfast last year, you might remember Jeremiah. He and a few others were brought along to Belfast and to join in on some of the music we were making there. And Jeremiah's story is amazing, inspiring story. Here's a little bit of just a few years after we met, we started meeting in public and really doing life together because I knew there was something super special about this guy. And here's Jeremiah performing in Times Square, New York.
Applause. Jeremiah Brown, would you come up and join me? And currently, Jeremiah volunteers at the Yale New Haven Hospital, playing piano and singing to patients and visitors. Jeremiah has unfortunately witnessed a lot of violence and gang activity in his life, but for him, music has taken away a lot of the stress and pain. And from these are your own words here, music is my life. It's who I am, and I want to change the world with music. I think that's a beautiful sentiment. Jeremiah is going to sing a song called Keep the Peace with Me. He'll be accompanied by Adam Christoferson, who is the founder of Musical Intervention. Jeremiah and Adam.
The song Keep the Peace to me is fine.
Many of you remember that song, Keep the Peace. We did a Music Beyond All Borders rendition, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So from all of these experiences, after I left working at Yale, I began to subcontract and go out with different facilities. And what I ended up finding was there was a lot of work that needed to be done in the community. And I got a small grant from the Arts Council of Greater New Haven to run open mics at soup kitchens and work with a few homeless programs, shelters and day programs. And this is a clip from some of the work that we did there.
You sleep in parks, schools. You sleep anywhere that you could try to keep warm.
And so much of musical intervention was born out of necessity as the mother of invention, as it is for me because of all of the trials that have gone on in life. For me, music was always there for me. And so doing this work with the community, I realized there were a lot of people that had nowhere to go and no space to be that's safe and productive. And so after our program working in the streets, I had an amazing opportunity to open up the musical intervention headquarters in downtown New Haven. Originally, it was, it still is, 2,300 square foot, which is a pretty large building here in the downtown New Haven, Connecticut area. This is in the East Coast. For those of you who don't know, we are in between New York and Boston. And the first line of duty was to build a stage, as you could imagine. So important. So important that they had us take this stage down because when you deal with building permits, it couldn't be built out of wood. So we had to get creative and we found cinder blocks instead. And we put a slab of wood on top of it and that met the building codes. And we were able to put on performances, all kinds of performances. Opening the door to this space was the most amazing experience ever, by far. I mean, I always envisioned a space that I wanted, a performance space that was available to people. I had no idea who would come. and the doors busted down and people began to do life there. Here is our outdoor. This is what it looks like outside. When you walk in, it immediately catches your eye. Most of this art, well, I'd say, yeah, all of this art was done by Amen Ra, a man who has done life with me in a major way. We met, he was doing art at Starbucks and sleeping at Dunkin' Donuts. And he was so inspirational and so talented. I said, man, you gotta be part of this. And we have been inseparable ever since. Here's another photo of what it looks like outdoors at night when things are going on. You can see, actually, if you look straight ahead, you can see somebody on stage there. And this is indoors. I'm proud of this photo for one particular reason. As I told you, I was raised in special education, and the University of Southern Connecticut State University actually invited me to be on the cover of their alumni magazine. And that was pretty inspirational for me. And this is the photo they used. This is my band here for Thunder Diggins, if those of you who don't know, Amina, and we got Freddie, we got Lockdown Louie on drums, and this is Giovanni on guitar. Yeah, enjoy this video. This is kind of what it looks like on a regular day.
I'm having the day of my life. Everything's going right. No reason inside. Everything's going right. Everything is going my way. No.
I love that video. So many of you are probably wondering, as everybody wonders when they walk in the door, how does this work? And I have a bunch of money signs there because before I had the studio, I was basically going to different locations, driving there and doing my work on site, which had almost no overhead. Now with the space downtown, it's quite expensive. So the door opened simply because Project Storefront offered the opportunity to open up this space downtown at $1,000 a month. That was for a 6-month period, and I had to get business going, or else I would asked to leave, and that would be it. But I didn't want to believe that that was possible, so I built this place to last, and it was on a shoestring budget. There was no investors, it was all miraculous, no doubt about it, and just a ton of work. And so the way that it worked was a few articles came out in the paper talking about this space, and I got a call from Bob Cole from the Connecticut Mental Health Center with interest in bringing musical intervention to CMHC, as well as finding a space for their young adult services to come in weekly and take part in group sessions. And so that really helped financially make this place run, along with hall rentals. We had a church that was renting from us on Sundays. Paid studio time, certain individuals would want to record at night, and so we would charge for that. Some folks would drop off small donations, and that would help pay for utilities, lights, things like that. And the most special of them all were the volunteers that would come in and take part in all of the activities. Some people said they wanted to be volunteers, but they really just didn't know how else to be part of this place, it being so free, that they felt like they needed to contribute in some capacity. And that's a beautiful element that makes this place shine so much. So many people want to take part in the experience here, and the best way is to be part of it by being a volunteer. And so we had people cleaning, taking tickets at the door, signing people in. We have volunteer open mic people that MC. Geez, we've had so many. At one point, we had 30 volunteers at one point, and it was a full-time job just managing all of that. Now, you might wonder what in the world goes on in a place where you have your doors open to the homeless, at-risk youth, veterans, people in recovery. Like, it must be chaotic. It must be crazy. there must be problems. Well, the actual opposite has been true. Once you walk through the door, it seems most people are on their best behavior. And it's so inspiring to watch. Even though when you see certain individuals outdoors, they might be doing things that might not, be healthy, but when they respect the rules that this space is a drug and alcohol free zone and that other people are trying to do their best in recovery. And it's very special to watch folks come in and really respect the space and respect each other. So one of the beautiful things about having a storefront in downtown, all kinds of people walk in. You never know who's going to walk in. You don't even need to have any issues going on. You're just curious, why are there vinyl records outside, or what's this music going on? And one of the people that came in had a storefront in New York City, Greenwich Village, and invited us to come to Greenwich Village and set up a musical intervention satellite location. And this is what came of it. This little light of mine, absolutely. And every single day from the moment we opened, people were coming in and connecting, children playing piano behind avant-garde, like beat poets. It was the most beautiful collaborations happening on a regular basis in the New York City streets. From that point, we actually got some corporate involvement, and they invited us to come to Bonnaroo Music Festival in Manchester, Tennessee, and open up a musical intervention tent where people can come in during the festival and jam out. I'll let you see the rest of what we were looking at on a regular basis. It was so cool. Just great vibes all together. And so for moving on into more community involvement, Make Music Day is a celebration all over the world. And we decided to celebrate by getting people together on top of the roof where we're located. It's a parking garage. Actually, we're the biggest biggest garage band in town. And this is a clip of just strangers getting together and singing a line of Lean On Me.
Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand.
We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem
that you'll understand.
We all need somebody to lean.
That was an incredibly special experience for me. And watching that entire video that's on our YouTube channel, Musical Intervention YouTube channel, is quite a scene. I mean, I feel like every diverse group was in that video represented and singing together Lean On Me, the great Bill Withers. And please, if you get a chance, check out that video. It's so cool. It's like one of my prized little projects. It's amazing. I love it. So a lot of this work that I've been doing here downtown got the attention of the Yale Program for Recovery and Community Health, PRCH. And they invited me to do a presentation at the International Recovery and Citizenship Conference. And that's where I met the amazing Frank Reilly, who I hope is watching right now. Man, this guy is so inspiring. He loved what was going on. He would come to the open mics, what was going on here, and he was determined to find people all over the world that are doing similar work. And he did. He brought us together under the name Music Beyond All Borders, a collaboration with Finland and Marcus Vahala and I mean, just so many great and amazing people. We all got a chance, like I said, to go to Belfast together and finally link up in person and run our music groups. And this is some video of some of the songwriting workshops that we were doing. And it was so much fun to see everybody, you know, from all over the world have similar experiences to the ones that we have on a regular basis in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. Just come out of their shells, get an opportunity to make music together. There's Peter and Anna. And I love this group so much. And it's such a shame that COVID came along. And, you know, we were all supposed to be in Portugal doing this again. And it was so much fun. And like it was said earlier, like Lisa was saying earlier, there are some videos on their YouTube, on our YouTube. And if you want to watch the songs, the music videos, and how it all came out at ECMH, 8th ECMH, please check that out. You'll be inspired. And we look forward to the 10th. So speaking of COVID-19 challenges and adjustments, okay, we're not alone in this, right? So we've had to do our open mics outdoors. And obviously here in the East Coast, it's starting to get chillier. So we're hoping something comes of something soon that we can have these special moments, because our open mics are really the most beautiful thing, because it brings in all kinds of people that want to showcase their talent. And when they find out more about musical intervention, they want to get involved. We've done online group songwriting sessions. So a lot of the sessions that I run with organizations are now run online, and so much is missing out of it, but certain elements are still there, and the collaborative element and that opportunity to see something come of nothing, a song that's generated right there on the spot, still happens. But we have had limited to no contact with inpatient and outpatient hospitals. We haven't been able to go into the hospitals as of yet. They are getting more creative in doing outdoor sessions. And we are, like Dr. Corlett was talking earlier, we're looking to see if we could do some of these sessions outdoors. But it has been challenging. And what we've been doing with the headquarters is one-on-one recording sessions. So we had built this isolation booth. And inside the isolation booth is a high quality air purifier. And, you know, that's where people can remove their masks and sing as loud as they would like and be in these isolation booths with a window and get direction from the producers outside. Let's talk a little bit about vision. So what we are looking to do now is an addiction treatment center, an exclusive addiction treatment center that would house individuals, and their main involvement would be to volunteer with musical intervention and partake in community service activities, as well as treatment, traditional treatment, therapy, if medication is needed, and all that stuff. We were so inspired by the New York location that we believe that we are building a model that could be replicated, and we have a few individuals that are interested in bringing musical intervention all over the world. And so we are looking for sustainable models that can deliver on this. Along with all of this, there are so many amazing moments and inspiring moments that are really for our eyes, but we believe that it could be for a broader eye and broader minds. And we are really looking into getting docuseries and reality TV that kind of highlight some of the work of music, but also look at mental health in general. We can try to destigmatize a lot of what's going on by showing the good that's inside of people and the struggle that is addiction and mental health. We're looking at publishing, licensing intellectual properties to potentially get revenue into people that might not have had any opportunity at all. And now all of a sudden their music and their minds are of financial value. And we really look forward to continued research with Dr. Corlett and others that are interested in seeing musical intervention and what we can do to help people. Obviously, you know, my parents struggle with schizophrenia. And so, it is very, very, very important to me that we begin to find new ways in looking at mental health. And I'm going to leave you with a quick I Can Change the World, and then we'll get to some questions. This is a music video shot at Musical Intervention.
Stepped outside on a sunny summer day. Looked to the sky and said something's got to change. Realized that my life was in my hands. I don't like the pressure weighing down. Spin me down and face to the ground. But I know there's hope to make the world. I could change the world someday. I follow myself every single day. Someday, I start with myself every single day. Something's got to change. Realize that my life is in my hands.
Yeah, connect with us. Check out our and subscribe to our Musical Intervention YouTube channel. Visit musicalintervention.com. Visit our Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much. That was exciting.
Thank you so much. And your ukulele, how fantastic. You were playing it last year in a conference also, many times.
Let's jam. Let's jam again in Portugal.
We will jam in Portugal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. I just was reading the chat and reading about Laura Falconer from Scotland. So inspiring, Adam, gave me goosebumps. Hopefully see everyone next year. And I couldn't think more as well as her. You gave goosebumps with your presentation. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there are lots of comments here, and people are thanking you, and this is inspiring speech, and people thank you for you telling your story and sharing your experiences, and people are feeling and really saying that you are doing wonderful job in your community, and this way of working should spread all over the world like you are doing now.
I want to say that Dr. Corlett is here also. If there are any questions for Dr. Corlett, he is available to take some.
Yeah.
But thank you for all those beautiful comments. I do appreciate it.
I could maybe make one question myself to Dr. Coleman. How does academic world and your university has reacted when you build up this research project?
Well, at Yale, we have a sort of long history and infrastructure for combining qualitative and quantitative research. So I consider myself a quantitative researcher. We measure behavior, we measure brain responses. And to some people that can seem that it robs things like music and artistic performance of its meaning or its magic. I feel differently. I feel that when we combine the qualitative with the quantitative, it actually inspires awe in me. Getting nearer to an understanding of what it is that Adam does and how it helps people means that we can only sort of work harder and optimize it and deliver it more broadly. And that's the hope. Yale have been incredibly supportive. My own institution, the Connecticut Mental Health Center, Adam was already embedded in before I was sort of introduced to the idea. In some senses, I'm the newcomer here. And as I said, both at the institutional level at Yale and more broadly with the NIH and Francis Collins, who's the director of the NIH, they've been immensely supportive, particularly through these difficult times, right? So we've been funded in advance of COVID. We were just about to get started in January when this whole situation started to take off the way that it has. And they've been extremely understanding with regards to us not meeting our recruitment targets yet and trying to figure out the best ways of delivering this in a manner that gives us the data that we were hoping to gather. My worry is, and I know Adam mentioned that he's able to run some of these things remotely, but as you know, there's nothing like being together in the same room, and that's sort of been somewhat challenging. We're trying to figure out ways to do that now. We're trying to do some small pilot studies to compare online versus in person, and hopefully that'll be useful data too. But just to answer your question directly, you know, everyone loves the project, everyone loves musical intervention, everyone loves Adam, and I'm just riding on his coattails.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear this, that your university is having this kind of positive and creative attitude to study this kind of intervention, which sometimes can be really difficult to find so-called evidence on how effective they are. This is very good. There's a question from Frank Reilly. Are there any early results, or when can we expect some results from your study?
Well, we're just working through getting the approvals to reopen. Our plan at the moment is to run things outside, but as Adam mentioned, it's going to get rather cold here very soon. So we're hoping to get some in-person data in the next month or two, and then we'll revert to online sessions. And the idea would be to compare and contrast the changes that we see in person compared to online. I hope that we would read out some very, very preliminary comparisons by the end of the year. But obviously that depends on how things happen with the second wave that we're sort of all living in fear of at the moment.
Wonderful. Thank you very much once again, Adam. Good to see you. Good to hear you. Good to hear your music and your ukulele. Really hope to see you next year in Lisbon.
Looking forward to it.
We say thank you for listeners. Also, you have been very active in the chat. Thank you very much. Lisa, we need to say something on the last parts of the today's program.
So there is 1 hour to go still, and actually in 1 minute we're going to meet in a social program, which is dialogic session together. It will be taking place in session, discussion and reflection room. And after that takes about half an hour. Word is free there to reflect and discuss. And then we have the speed dates again, starting 5:30, when you can meet another person for 3 minutes. So let's meet in ECMH speech dates. And then one more thing, in Expo area, there is a new booth which is showing pictures during this conference. You might find something what you have been presenting, and then you can see what's happening here in backstage, what you can't see all the time. So,
okay, yes.
Enjoy.
See you soon. Bye-bye, Adam.
Bye.
Bye for now, Lauren.
Bye, Phil.
Thank you, Lisi.